Over the last few months, I'm sure you've all noticed that tensions have been escalating across the Western world, and especially in our kingdom. And of course, the big government alongside the mainstream media have definitely not helped. We've seen lies, we've seen slander, we've seen propaganda and nonsense being spread around about many individuals, including Tommy Robinson, Douglas Murray, myself, and of course on all different sides as well, because everybody's angry at everybody. In this case, we're talking about the role of the media, the credible media, because they have licenses with Ofcom and they get the advertisers and everything else, so they have to be credible, right? They have press passes. But they can say whatever they want without being challenged, and they get away with it. Every single one of the corporate media outlets, from BBC and Sky to GB News, Channel 4, Talk TV, every single one of them have the same problem. Over the last, obviously, a few weeks, we've had a number of presenters and contributors on GB News, for example, and other channels too, spreading lies, actual lies, by the way, about Tommy Robinson. Tommy has decided to speak out against these lies, and now you can criticize Tommy. You don't have to love him or hate him. You could agree with some of the stuff he does. You could disagree with the other things. Like me, like Douglas Murray, like many others who are fighting for certain things. But you can still be objective and say, well, you can criticize, but you don't have to create lies. Let's go to this video that we have from Tommy. He's decided to speak out against GB News.
Here's a quick question for you. In the last few months, on GB News, the free speech channel, on Talk TV, whether it be commentators, whether it be politicians, news presenters, whenever they've been speaking about the far right and the extremism that's opposite of Islamic, they've all named me. The government have now given their extremism, the new plans to tackle extremism. They've named the organisations that are extreme and extremists. Where's my name? Yeah? So how come there are some extreme far-right extremist groups that are problematic, and they're named now by Gove and his government, but none of the news presenters have ever named these groups or people? They always try to fling the blame on me, every time. And I've got a long list. You all may have watched Troll Watch. It's what I done a few years back, confronting the liars. I've got a long list. I've got every one of you fucking liars located. Yeah? That's what I do, right? I've located you. 4 of you are in London. Yeah? You've lied. You've used your daytime TV platform to tell lies. And then when people talk about why I have this bad reputation and why I'm seen as toxic, it's because of liars like you. In just the last month, I've been throwing petrol bombs. That's one Muslim presenter on Jacob Rees-Mogg's phone, on Jacob Rees-Mogg's show. I was throwing petrol bombs, apparently, and rioting, yeah, in London. Right? You've got this other female, forget her name, but I know who you are. You've got this other female who says I was throwing things at police officers. Lie. You've got this Benjamin Woke Muppet, I think that's his name, on GB News, who goes on to say, lives in £1 million house. Looked him up and looked everything up about him, little rich kid, yeah, on GB News. Fucking using his platform on GB News to talk about how we have to be sensible, whilst at the same time condemning me and saying that I burned the Quran outside mosques. So being sensible whilst endangering my life with lies on a mainstream TV platform. Yeah? Just the whole thing. Obviously I get frustrated because I have to watch all these continuous lies coming out of GB News, Talk TV, Julie Hartley-Brewer, all the people who supposedly are here telling the truth are using their daytime platforms to absolutely slander, attack and lie about me. There's nothing other word for it. The problem you've all got is everyone knows it's lies. Everyone's watching. I've got my platform back, you mugs. I can expose you. You're all going to be on Troll Watch the minute I can enter London without being arrested. Yeah? You're protected a minute by the Metropolitan Police Force, but very soon I'll be asking you questions. But again, to all the news reporters who keep referring to Tommy Robinson and his supporters as the far-right problem, not according to the government in what's come out today. You mugs. Countering Islamic jihadism doesn't make us extremists or far-right, yeah? It's pretty frustrating.
So The thing about this video and the reaction from Tommy Robinson is, again, this is exactly what they will do. Because of the rhetoric that someone like Tommy has, the cosmopolitan, pseudo-educated, middle-class liberals, people who watch Benjamin Butterworth and all those guys, they're going to say, Tommy Robinson just threatened Butterworth and all the other guys. He's discovered where they live and he's threatening them. You see how this is exactly what they're going to do. And by the way, the paranoia of the middle classes genuinely works that way, because they're going to feel unsafe now. They're going to say, hang on, he said he's located us. What is he going to do to us? Considering the whole video was a very defensive video, and he was basically saying, hey, I haven't done anything wrong, blah, 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 and even I'm not on the extremist list. But when he says it like that, they're going to say, is he threatening us? We have to go into hiding. But at the end of the video, it said, yes, because I'm going to find you to actually hold you to account. I'm going to ask you questions from his journalistic hat, obviously, as an independent reporter. He's going to do that, which, by the way, I'm still not in favor of. I don't really believe that if you corner people or on the streets or on their doorstep, yeah, they're going to be able to actually answer your questions. It's like when Hamas are stealing people and kidnapping people, or any sort of organization, and say, you now are going to be forced to answer my questions. Well, yeah, under duress, they're not going to answer questions. So, I don't agree with the tactic of trying to find people to actually then follow them on the streets to like ask questions or anything like that, obviously. But we don't even know if that's what Tommy wants to actually do. He said he wants to question them and hold them to account. If these people don't want to have a civilized conversation, then obviously there's no point in asking questions. Some people like it, by the way. Some people like to... I remember Chris Whitty used to be followed around on the streets and people film it like, ooh, I just held Chris Whitty to account. No, you didn't. You did nothing. You and your supporters were just like watching, and they were like, oh yeah, go after Bill Gates next. Yeah, it makes it feel good for about 25 seconds. Did you actually achieve anything? Nothing actually happened. They continued to do whatever they were going to do, Fauci and all those nutters, and then you felt good about yourself for chasing them on the street. Think about outcome rather than intention. That's the whole point. As Milton Friedman always said, judge a program or policy or whatever you're doing based on outcome rather than the intent. It doesn't matter what your intent is. Is the outcome going to be giving you what you want? Or are you doing it to just make yourself feel better? Or tell the world, hey, I made an effort. I don't care about effort. I care about outcome. Regardless of how you're going to get there, as long as you're doing it legally, make sure you get the outcome rather than make yourself feel good. Anyway, that's the reaction that we had from Tommy Robinson. And he's right that they've been spreading lies about him. And it is also right that they need to answer questions, by the way. We have to hold them to account, those who have actually spread lies. Again, the best way to do it is just to take legal action and sue them, because it is definitely slander.